Let me get all my accoutrements. Good morning. Okay, thank you. We are so blessed. Aren't we so blessed? Jeff, Janine, your music has blessed us, opened our hearts. And every one of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for reflecting the divine love of Christ back to me. I see it, I feel it, I know it, and you know it too. So Nancy started us off last week talking about bridges. And honestly, after I listened to Nancy's talk, I thought, there's nothing more to say. You covered it. And then Spirit said, come on, go a little farther. The preparation for these talks is always a journey. And like any journey, it feels like there's moments of exuberance, particularly right when I hear the topic, I'm exuberant that, yes, that sounds like fun. And then as it gets closer, I think, what was I thinking? Go into the abyss. And then it's always an opportunity to cross into faith and just openness, knowing for sure the Spirit is right here, and within all of you. There's no way that this can go wrong. Some of you may take more than others. It doesn't matter. What I want most for you each to know is that you are a bridge. You are a bridge from the divine walking on earth. And there isn't anything in the universe more powerful, more radiant, more beautiful than each one of you. So for my talk today, I'm going to start broad. I want to focus on the wonder and awe of bridge building and the adventure of crossing through bridges. And I want to bring a playfulness about it, even though we'll be talking about some hard things that's a part of this adventure and journey of life. But I have to look at my notes to get these stats right. Now this part's not a stat, but I found it was humorous. At every party, there are two kinds of people, those who don't want to go home and those who do. The trouble is they're usually married to each other. And there is nothing like long-term partnership to learn how to build bridges. Am I right? Love is the bridge between you and everything, said Rumi. Now, the Milky Way is one galaxy, one that we happen to live in. We live in this beautiful spiral galaxy. I hope some of you are enjoying these telescope images from the new Webb telescope. It blows my mind every time I see an image. We just recently saw Saturn, and it's like, wow, the wonder and the miracle of this universe is staggering. The Milky Way contains about 300 billion stars and at least that number of planets. And in 2020, it was estimated that there are around 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. That doesn't include parallel universes. It doesn't consider the part of the universe we don't even see, doesn't consider alternative dimensions. That's staggering. And I know that Nancy used this beautiful imagery, now going to the finite, the tiniest aspect of the universe, which are every cell within us. And she talked about a basketball and a stadium. And another way of thinking about it is if the nucleus within every cell of everything, including our bodies, if the nucleus were the size of a peanut, the atom would be about the size of a baseball stadium. And if we lost all space within those atoms, each of us would fit into a particle of dust, particle of sand. If the entire 8 billion human species were to be condensed, all the air taken out of us, all the space taken out of us, we would all fit into a sugar cube. We're pretty spacey. We're absolutely pretty spacey. But when you stop to consider those staggering statistics. What I want you to take away is not how infinitely small you are, but what a miracle you are, that in the midst of this incredible universe created out of the only force to exist, which is the living, loving power energy of God, there's one of you. There's one of me. And we can become so focused on what's wrong with us, what's not going right with us, that I would have to say, of course, there's things going wrong with us. We don't have it all together. And any of us who think we do, well, I would just refer to those statistics. You know? And yet, how willing we are to die, kill for our beliefs. I just want to poke some holes in any possible certainty that our beliefs are right. I would just have to say, the only belief that we know is there's one powerful force in the universe that each of us is waking up more fully to, and that is the power of love. And all of those galaxies and all of those stars exist within it and are expressions of it, as are you. As Nancy pointed out last week, and as other speakers have frequently talked about, we all know this. We existed before coming into these confining bodies. We went from this place of pure bliss, being one with everything, knowing all, to these little tiny bodies. And I think of her story, what she was talking about her granddaughter, who was able to, how old is she? 6 months, 4 months? 6 months. And she's just discovered her hand. And when we stop to think about the adjustment that we go from this vast being connected with all, knowing for sure there's only bliss, being a part of bliss, thinking, yay, I want to go have an adventure for life. I want to have a body. I want to experience life. I want to taste, touch, smell, feel. I want to wake up and remember that I'm divine. Oh, I'm not so sure we really knew what taking on a body meant when we said that, but each of us has done that. And we go from this place of knowing who we are to forgetting who we are, and then reawakening to who we are. And we cannot do that on our own. We need each other, both to help us forget and to help us awaken. And while we need each other, we are the only ones who can do the work of awakening. We are the only ones who can show up. We are the only ones who can respond to the myriad of ways that the divine reveals itself to us. That's our work. But because we get lost, because we forget who we are, because we fall into limited beliefs, we need people to tell us that we're okay. That one of the things that I read as I was preparing for this talk is that song where Paul Simon, in Simon and Garfunkel, that song we just heard about Sail on Silver, something, Silver Girl. He wrote that for his wife who just discovered gray hair. Yeah, we can, most of us have had our first gray hair a while ago. And remember how shocking that was. And how important it was to be told, you're beautiful. No matter if you get a whole, you're beautiful. When we doubt ourselves, and I mean beautiful, yes, physically, but also those aspects of ourselves that we just think people should not be able to tolerate because we don't. We need people to say, I love you. I love you. I see the gray hair and I love you. Yeah. Everything in life is meant to be a bridge that leads us back home to the divine. Yes, vertically, but also horizontally. There's nothing that is not divine. And once we taste it, and I know all of you have, we want more. There's a hunger, an insatiable hunger for more of those experiences to help us break through the illusion, help us break through the beliefs, and to help us rise above when a world can feel pretty dark. When I was a kid, I don't know, somewhere maybe fifth grade or so. My dad was working for the Montana Power Company. We lived in Helena. And because of his connections, we were able to go tour Hauser Dam. And Hauser Dam is, many of you have probably seen it. Many of you probably crossed it. Roger probably has fished over there. And there's, just from the external looking in, the dam is holding up this wonderful body of water. It's really fun to ski on and to play on, and I did all of those things. And then the dam happens, and there's all this water that's gushing out, and there's churning water, and then there's the river down below. I lost a lot of lures on that river, much to my dad's chagrin. But I remember as a kid going into this dam, and it's all concrete and dry, and I remember the amazement knowing I was underwater, but I was dry. And just the wonder of, wow, how did they build this? And it's such a cool experience. I mean, I remember it still to this day because it didn't make sense in my mind. It still honestly doesn't. I know there's engineers, I know how bridges are made, but still to think that we can dam water, we can create electricity from it, and we can go into the dam. It's all sort of wondrous to me. And the Brooklyn Bridge comes to mind. Nora knows all about the Brooklyn Bridge. And in the late 1800s, that was one of the most spectacular creations on the planet. Bob knows about the Golden Gate, and all of you from California, the Golden Gate Bridge. The wonder that humans have been able to create bridges. Going even farther back, the Romans with their arches that still exist today and still are used today, thousands of years later. Just the wonder of what we're capable of when we work together. Because perhaps there's nothing more fun than being out in the woods and having to ford a stream and making our own bridge. Everybody's done that. You have to find you either walk on rocks to get across, hoping you don't fall in. Sometimes you do, or you just put a log across. But there's something really fun about the simplest forms of crossing from one point to another too. And when we do it on our own, there's a feeling of wonder in that. There's an equal amount of wonder to think about all the people collaborating to build these incredible bridges that we cross all the time. Those are all examples of external bridges. And internal bridges are where we have the most control, and actually the only control. The bridge inward, upward, and horizontally. I've been spending a lot of time with my dad lately. He's 90, he's got end-stage congestive heart failure, and I've shared in the past that he has been a very challenging relationship for me. And because of him, I've done a lot of healing work. And I can say after a decade or more of that healing work, without any conscious effort on my part, all I feel for him is love now. And I'm so grateful that he's been in his body for 90 years because it's taken me that long to receive him for the gift that he is without me trying to change him to the father I wanted him to be. In the same way he was trying to change me to the daughter he wanted me to be. I don't know if he's changed or not, but there's something within me. There's been a bridge building in my heart. And I know it was the divine flowing through me, healing me, that I'm no longer dependent upon him to feel okay about myself, which frees me to love him for who he is. And what a gift it is now to be able to companion him as he gets closer and closer to leaving his body. I'm so grateful that it was so hard for me because he's been one of my greatest teachers. And so grateful that it's ending the way that it is, however long he's got. And each of you has people in your life that have been difficult for you. And Roger talked a while back about his mom. And we don't have to build these bridges while they're still in physical form. We can do that whether they're in physical form or not. But the gift of building bridges with people who have been challenging for us really does open gateways to the divine. And it feels good. Now getting just really practical, there are so many ways to build bridges. There are near-death experiences. There are experiences with plant medicine. There are experiences through meditation. There are experiences in nature. The divine has a way of getting our attention and blasting us open, sometimes in just brief moments, but we know it. And we're not the same afterwards, because it's as if these layers that we've put upon us with our own beliefs, our own self-rejection, other people's perceived rejection, every time we are blasted open, we're shifted and we're expanded and we're elevated. Our frequency changes. And I brought something to use as a demo of this. I'm going to try not to get anybody's actual eyes. So I'm not going to shine this at anybody, but I hope it's dark enough. Can you see the light? Okay. It is a nice bright light. So if you use your imaginations to know that you are at least this bright, you're actually more bright. But this is you. This is who we are when we come onto the planet. And we still are that in here. We're never not this. But we come onto the planet and we're going to have these amazing experiences. We're going to remember who we are. And we're going to just live a physical body from this perspective. Of course, that doesn't work. I'm not really sure that's what we planned either. But we go from being this to believing that we are separate from the divine. And how do we do that? Well, we have an experience where we're really little and we feel like mommy doesn't love us or daddy doesn't love us. And we think there's something wrong with us. And then we get a little older and we go to school and some of the kids are mean to us and we feel left out. There must be something wrong with me. And then we have our first heartache where he breaks our heart or she walks away from us. Oh man, there's something wrong with me. My body's wrong. Then we have kids. I hate you, mommy. You know. And then just life. How do we forget who we are? From this place, it's very easy for us to hurt each other. Because when we lose sight and feeling of the reality of the divine within us, we can't see that in anybody else. And it's really easy for us to blame other people and to make them wrong. And if they would change, I would feel good. Life would be good. I will be happy when. It just doesn't work that way. What does work? The only thing that works is when we do our healing work while cooperating with this vast, incredible experience of the divine all around us, flowing through us. Because sometimes it does just take we can lose a lot of these beliefs in just an instant with an experience of the divine. We still have to make sense of it, but a lot of it can be blasted open. And in addition to that, we have to love ourselves. And oftentimes that takes somebody, might even be all of the time, I'm not sure. My experience so far is that I've needed other people. And when I can accept the shame that I've held against myself, which divides me from the divine, it's like putting a wall up. It's like wrapping, I do this. No matter what other people do, I'm the one who takes it in. I'm the one who believes it. Therefore, I am the only one who can step free of it. That's where our power lies, even if the other person never changes. And so it's a matter of identifying when we feel shame, when we react with harshness, when we get triggered, overused word, but when we get triggered, we know there's something off. There's a block in us. So I'll use my dad. since I did so much work with him. And I've been sharing him for years now with you. Going from what's wrong with me to what's wrong with him, I can tell you what's wrong with him. To, oh, you know what's real? I've been hurt by him. I've been hurt that he didn't love me. Okay. Well, do I need his love to love me? No. Is it his job to love me the way I want him to? Not really. It's mine. I love me. Okay. And I could go through lots of examples, but you have plenty in your own lives. The path forward is to free the other person, to recognize them as our teacher, our partner, coming from this divine experience in human form, to learn the lessons, to grow, to be a bigger drop of water, a bigger drop of love in this vast universe, taking with us the wisdom, taking with us the love. We need to have struggle in order to do that. And always the path forward is self-acceptance, admitting you have to name the pain. And it's you, okay, so I'll throw my sister in there. Family of origin, right, guys? So I never thought my sister loved me. And that may still be true, but we chose each other. And again, it's not her job to love me, but I feel hurt as long as I want her to love me the way that I want her to love me. So, okay, Mary, I set you free. I want you, the truth is I want her to have a lovely, happy, wonderful life. And I love me. There's more work to do with all this, but to get to the point and to get beyond this, the way forward is always to name what your belief is. You can't name what you can't see. So name what it is, own it, and then be gentle. Treat yourself as you would the most precious little puppy or child, granddaughter, baby. Love yourself back into the wholeness. And we can help each other, and we are helping each other to do this. Here we are. I brought my phone up here so I would time myself, but did I turn it on? No. I'll go pretty quickly through here because it is a gorgeous Sunday beckoning for us to get out and enjoy it. Some of the ways we get into our own way are through limited beliefs, which are beliefs that we make up, such as talent is decided at birth, all children who love their parents respect them, successful people are lucky, it's wrong to show anger, all of the beliefs that we grew up with, that we carry with us, they can get in our way. So we challenge those. Is it true? Is it really true? Do I want to keep living from that? We also carry with us interpretations, which you can think of as glasses that we see and experience the world through. For instance, if I'm wearing the lens of victim, or like I'm poor and I hate rich people, then everywhere I see, I'm going to see examples of rich people who are greedy, selfish, and I will reinforce those beliefs because I don't know that I'm wearing this glass and I think it's true. So again, we have to challenge our interpretations. Assumptions. Anybody ever make any assumptions? Occasionally, maybe more frequently than we'd like to admit. And then an inner gremlin. All the inner gremlin is well, I won't use the word I usually use, but it's our inner critic. Yes, and we all have those. And so I want you to, if you feel so inclined, call yourself out, because these are roots, R-O-U-T-E-S, roots of separation that we inflict upon ourselves. They block us from the experience of vitality, vibrancy, and radiance as the divine children of God. And so I just, you don't have to memorize those or anything, but just call yourself out when you catch yourself telling a story about yourself or other people, because it works both ways. The reason I'm focusing on ourselves is that I'm not sure it's really possible. I'm open to it, but I'm not sure it's really possible to love other people any more than we love ourselves. And in this world that feels so separated, as conscious people, it feels like it's our job to do our healing work so that we can build a bridge from where we are to people who think different from us. And if we are, in fact, vibrating at a higher frequency, it's up to us, because people who are residing literally in the frequency of victimhood, anger, and blame, they're incapable of building the bridge. We have to go to them. I don't know how that looks. It's all different for each one of you and for me, but it's something to strive for. And on that note, I'd like to close with this poem that the youngest poet laureate ever proclaimed at President Biden's inauguration. And it's not because it was Biden's inauguration, but because it's powerful words that each of us can take with us. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just is isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours. Before we knew it, somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl, descended from slaves and raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to Glade, the hill we climb if only we dare it. Because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption we feared at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe, now we ask how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? And I'm going to wrap. I'm going to skip some here, ... And while she wrote this for our country, it applies to so much more than just our country. It applies to all of the bridges, all of the people that are in our lives, and it's external, bringing the divine through, however that applies to you, we will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. You are it. Be it. You come back. Oh, I see up here. Okay. I need somebody to tell me what I do. Oh, I forgot all about that. Thank you. The one thing that I never did when I was working and participating so much in the Catholic Church was to be the service coordinator, because I'm terrible at it. I don't get that. Okay, so going back into my body here. Let's just take a deep breath and let it go. That's it. Do another one of those. Deep breath in. And release it. Let it go. With all the ease and the beauty and the power of the ocean. Let your breath roll in and out. Letting go. For this moment, no worries, no struggle, no division. Just you, your breath. And knowing that the very air we breathe is love. There isn't anything else. Take in love. Give back love. All is well. Allow your attention to come to your heart. And think of something that makes you smile. Notice the feeling in your body as you think of something that opens your heart. Only love is in you. Breathe in, breathe out. Think of one person that you want to build a bridge to. This could be yourself. Could be somebody else. Imagine that person at the end of a bridge. Allow yourself to feel the division, the judgment, and know that it's not an accurate perception. You don't have to cross the bridge right now, but just be aware that there may be some healing work to do so that you can. And let that go. Now just imagine that there is a whole waterfall of light cascading down upon you, filling you, washing you, clearing you, cleansing you, lifting you, and see your body become one with that light. You are. And in a moment, as you come back fully into this room, your body, bring that with you. Whether you feel it or not, you are the light. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back. Hey, do we circle up now or after we do the prayer protection? Okay, thanks. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.